We go from you and me playing together. And if you've got a dog that doesn't really seem too into tug, by the way, do not let your two dogs play together, because then you mean nothing to them. You have nothing to offer. But grab their butt, okay? Pat him on the side, right? He's nice and sturdy. Grab a little fur. But then you make the toy die. Okay, so I can predict that that behavior is going to happen. So when I know that if I make the toy die, he will let go, what is it time to start doing? Look at your sheets.
Click.
I can't click though.
Because you're too busy, your hands.
Yeah, you can use a verbal or you can have somebody else click. But what else is it time to start doing? By the way, I should change that. I don't need to click and treat this, and I don't think you will either. What's his reward? Playing more. So what happens is when he lets go, I can verbally mark it. Yes. Get it. That's his reward, is more play, so I don't need to throw a treat in there. But what you start doing is inserting the cue. So when I know he's going to let go, give.
But he's very quiet. A cold goes grrr.
That if it's happening during tug, it's fine. Okay? Believe me, you can and should make a noise while you're tugging. Okay? Watch this. The noise I used with him when he was a puppy was. So whenever we were tugging together. So to this day, if he goes someplace else, what you'll see is that noise. He says, "Oh, I got myself a sucker."
Okay, but this is a toy. This is not something
You're not there.
Well, that's okay.
It's something important that you're not making.
But here's the thing: you can't get him to give up a bird, which is a $10,000 bill, until you can get him to give up a $100 bill happily. So giving up a bird, trust me, is a lot. I don't, you know, again,
what about a piece of paper? I mean, he's compulsive on paper.
Call me on that. He's compulsive on paper because you're compulsive trying to get it away from him. You've got to get him away from that habit. Then keep doing that and puppy proof
And I
better.
put him on the door and then.
Get it, take it.
He picks up a piece of paper.
Take baskets.
That's everything.
I
I can't find anything. Can't find my shoes. I gotta throw my shoes and hide them.
Certainly not with the frisbee. I mean, I wouldn't do it with a marrow. Okay? Good.
What happens
It's
if
supposed to be a border collie.
what happens if you have a different command? Like
You don't-
like we use. No, I mean saying like when I tell Bonnie to drop, it's like put a drop and she'll
Now,
drop.
this is, everybody listen up for this for a moment, because this is a really important thing. People say this to me all the time with 15-week-old puppies. You've heard me say this. He knows drop it. I say, show me. Drop it, drop it! And guess what? They drop it. Drop it. First of all, drop it is the worst cue to have, because you can say it in a really angry tone of voice. If you want to say anything, eventually you're going to call it thank you. But for right now, you're not allowed to say drop it. You're not allowed to use cues for anything. I want you clicking and reinforcing behavior, behavior, behavior. Because here's the thing. You're not ready to use a cue until the behavior is there. So you want to reinforce the behavior of letting go. I don't care if you put a treat under her nose and when she spits it out, you click and pay. But the idea here is that a trained behavior is one the dog does willingly. Okay? It's not, in other words, if you need to be reaching for something to get out of the dog's mouth, you shouldn't be taking it out of the dog's mouth. Because they're not trained to do it, and it's going to be a competition, it's going to be a confrontation, and there's nothing good that can come out of going down that path. So that means you've got to puppy-proof better, you've got to outsmart the dog, and we train the behavior. But that's how you do it. You insert, 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 until one day I look at him and I can say, give. Now the only thing about tug, I'm going to borrow that for a second, if you are in the middle of a physical tug game like this, and you say, give, why is he letting go? Because it's still working, right? So the idea behind that is that he tugs because he's killing the squirrel. It's a very instinctive thing to do. He lets go because it's dead. And then you just put it under control. You put it on cue. All right, last thing I need to show you. Squeeze tubes are one of the things that I recommend you buy for this class. They're great for your reinforcing recalls. They're great for something called the name game. And what the squeeze tube does is it allows you to use really, 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 really good food without getting your hands dirty. The class that was here before you, you might have heard me telling them for recalls, I want you working with steak, working with liver, working with stuff that makes your dog's eyes bug out of their head, because I don't want you, hey buddy, a lot cleaner, nicer on your hands to be able to work with something like canned dog food in a tube. The squeeze tubes come empty, and what you do is you put whatever food you want in it, you close this up, and then the pin goes on the other side. I happen to cut mine down because if I want to go train in a field or something, I like to fit in the bait bag, okay? But you can get them, and this is one of the things that I sell up front. So this is the last thing I want to show you, and then if anybody wants to get stuff, we can. But here's what the name game is. Flip to the page in your worksheet on the name game, please. What? Are you having fun today? Huh?
When you said give, did he put it in your hand, or did he just release and do something?
If I have my hand on it, he'll let go, but otherwise it does mean drop it to the floor. Okay? I personally never really made that much of a distinction with it.
But at least he lets you take it easily.
Yes, yeah. But if I'm pulling on it, tugging on it, he probably won't let go because there's no reason to. Okay, so here's what the name game is. You're going to practice this at home when there's not much going on. This is supposed to work 100% of the time, every time you do it. It's supposed to be easy. And what it's doing is it's building name attention, meaning this. I hear my name, I turn my head. You got kids that like to hold the front door open, right? The dog is 2 steps away from the door. Puppy, what? They just turn their head. It's not a recall, it's not come, it's simply getting them to turn their head. And the key to making this work is that every time you do this exercise, they get 30 seconds straight of reinforcement, okay? Now, for this dog, who cares about toys and tug much more than food, I could do 30 seconds of tug with him as a payment, but since we've already done that, I'll use the squeeze tube. By the way, what do you notice is one of his default behaviors other than yoga and mat? I'm trying to practice the name game with him, but I can't right now because he won't take his eyes off me. The joke in our house is that I'm going to turn him into a pug, because every time you walk into a room and you walk out, you smack him right in the nose, because he's right up my butt. But that's the bonding. Love me. Yay, did you pick me? Did you just turn your head even though you were looking at all these lovely people in the room? 30 seconds of food. And notice when you do the 30 seconds, you scratch, not head over the head, but this is where I'm going to pair that really wonderful scratching, right, with the food. So someday when I don't have the food, it reminds him of the scratching, right? Good boy, 30 seconds is such a long time. Yes, it is. That's a good man. Good boy. Did you pick me?
And he has no idea what you're saying.
None. But he understands tone. That's a really good point.
Right.
He understands tone. I could be saying, I hate you. I'm going to take you to the shelter at 4 o'clock. But they understand tone, and they understand payment. So at the end of the day, what's that? Great question. You do not. When he was young, and, by the way, settled position we're going to do more of, or to show you that. I know. What you think of, when he was young, there were days that he never, ever ate out of a bowl. I was like, okay, we're going to work on this, and that, and the dog eats, let's say, 4 cups of food a day when he was young, and I went through, 2 bait bags full of food. So it's not, here's your dinner, and then there's your treats. It's you cut into what they eat in a day. If your dog is overweight, you're going to be skipping meals. You're going to be skipping Friday night's dinner and Saturday morning's breakfast. When, in my last school, I lived a half a mile away. Half a mile. It was a 12-minute walk. And when we were working on leash walking, we would go through an entire bait bag in that 12 minutes. Okay? And then it got to, okay, you get 2 treats the whole walk because it was a trained behavior and the level of reinforcement went down. And then it was, okay, you only get reinforced when we walk by the house with the 3 crazy barking shelters. Are you a good boy? Are you a good man? You like doing orientations? Okay, I'm going to put him away, but I am technically done with everything I need to say. So if you have, what I'd like to do is move up front in case any of you want to get clickers, squeeze tubes, treat pouches, or anything like that. But I'm done with what I have to say, so if anybody has questions,